Good morning. On this episode of Storytime with Surly, we're going to talk about, a couple different things. I just want to say that of all the jobs that I've had being in self-employed is kind of it gets a little lonely at the top. Anyway, I'm using my buddy Omid's Land Rover to film in today because I'm actually working on it. Um, so, a buddy of mine named Mike, back about 2010 or 11, had a late 70s, early 80s model Mustang. I want to say it was like an 80 or an 81, maybe like an 83. I don't remember to be 100%. It could have been a 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. Well, it was a factory four-cylinder car that had the 7.5 inch rear end in it, and he gutted it, put a 347 stroker in it, and that was pretty much it. Didn't modify the suspension. Put a 90 91 style front clip on it, and a buddy of mine named Tony bought it from him somewhere around 2011, and it ended up at our shop for a while, and I helped him do some work on it. Namely, I pulled all the wiring out of it and ran lights, ignition. What else did I run? Electric fan. Um, what else? It was pretty basic. So alternator, starter, lights, electric fan, and that's pretty much it. All on a flip switch panel. You activate 12 volts to the switch. That one's for lights. That one's for ignition. That one's for fan. Etc. and so forth. Because pretty much the only wires running to this 347, because it was carbureted, were the alternator wire and like a oil pressure switch or something. Which I don't even think the oil pressure gauge worked. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while. So I pretty much got rid of all the wiring under the dash. We put a short shifter in it, some lowering springs, some eBay specials. It had, I forget, 15s in the front, and it might have had a set of the matching 15s for the back, but it also had a set of slicks that came with it when he bought it. Well, didn't have a fan on it, so I helped my buddy put a fan on it. It was actually a fan from a PT Cruiser, funny enough. Helped him get it rewired, put a fan in it, put a short shifter in it, tune the carburetor up. The carburetor was way too big for that 347. Most people might disagree with me, but anything bigger than a 600 on a 600 CFM on a naturally aspirated small block Ford's kind of a waste. This one's like a 750 Holly or something. 700. I don't remember what size it was, but it was too big. Like, that thing ran pig rich. It ran great, but it ran super super rich. Um, he had taken it to the track a couple times, and it did like what we thought it was gonna do, and it wheel hopped pretty bad. It had a 7.5 inch rear end in it with no kind of traction bars, no internal upgrades. And I think that was something that was on the list of things to do at some point, but never got done. So I say that to say this: there was a day Well, we didn't have a lot going on at the shop, so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get out here and launch it in the parking lot because I think we might have changed the clutch in it. I don't recall, but I want to say that somebody at AutoZone hooked him up with a clutch. So put a clutch in it, and it was cable clutch, and I want to say it had like a T5 transmission in it. If that's right, I don't know. The Borg one or something or other. Anyway, so I launched it a couple times, and it does okay. I mean, got a little bit of wheel hop. I think the right rear was worse. Well, where the shop was, it's over in League City on 270, and the direction the back of the driveway aims is right out onto the, we'll call it a highway because it's pretty much constant traffic 24 hours a day. And I was aimed in that direction, and my buddy Mike W, not the guy that built the car, but Mike W, and my buddy Tony were standing outside the shop watching, and I revved it up, boom, 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 dumped the clutch, and I got to the end of the building, and I let off and went to hit the brakes, but the car didn't let off. So my first inclination after hitting the brakes was to quickly turn into the other side of the parking lot and go around the building. Well, I think I drifted around this building like twice. I mean, I'm talking sideways. Blah! Everything it had. It was bouncing off the rev limiter in first gear. Boom, 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 boom. And I was coming around the second time, and I don't remember if it was my buddy Mike or Tony that was screaming, "Shut it off." And I'm dragging that poor electric fan from the PT Cruiser is up under it. The seat's like, well, maybe it didn't have a passenger seat. I don't remember. But it's screaming. Wah! And I want to say we had put a little bit of high octane fuel in it. So my eyes are burning. And I finally, realized what they were saying. So I reached over and boom, hit the key and put the clutch, push the clutch in. And I probably could have done that too, but I was worried about over revving it with no load on it because it wasn't mine. Well, popped the hood, and it turned out the linkage for the carburetor just hung wide open. And I will say that I think that's the last time I drove a carbureted vehicle, if I remember right. Yeah, well, other than stuff that I've worked on, like drove into a shop, but never on the street. I worked on a handful of old cars that are carbureted, but since then. But that was just a funny event, and every now and then when I talk to these guys or see them, it always comes up. That was actually a really cool car. I ended up not long after that helping them clean it up, like sand it a little bit, and we painted it with rattle cans donated from AutoZone, the Ford True Blue color, and that actually looked really good. I'm actually pretty good with a rattle can. I'm better with a rattle can than I am an actual, you know, legit spray gun. Then again, it's been 15 years since I tried to use one of those, so I might be better now. I don't know. But it's just, it's a lot of fun working on cars and messing around with cars and almost exploding cars. Well, I say it's a lot of fun. Not all of them are fun. This Land Rover, for instance, um, it's been a real pain. Uh, yeah. So we painted it true blue, and then I want to say we bolted another seat in the passenger side. I don't. It might have had 2 seats. Well, the guy we worked with, who started out in sales, front shop sales, tire salesman, service salesman, whatever you want to call them, ended up getting transferred back to us, or not transferred, opted to move into the shop, and he started out as like a lube tech or a C tech. He was a discount tire guy for a long time, so he knew how to do that. Randy B. I'm not saying anybody's last name on here, but he ended up buying it, this Mustang, and got it going 100% and looking good. And I don't think he painted it or anything, but I think he did some other stuff on it that he wanted to do. And then it wasn't 3 weeks after he bought it. Was coming across an intersection somewhere in Pasadena, maybe LaPorte, and somebody ran a red light, exploded it. So he wasn't hurt, thankfully, and thankfully his kid wasn't in the car. But it's just one of those weird things, you know what I mean? You put a car through its paces, and then all it takes is somebody running a stoplight. But that'll do it for this episode. This is episode 17, I believe. Again, I'm doing these for my kids, just telling silly stories and funny stories and character building stories as I remember them. Peyton, Lillian, and Timothy always do the right thing. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm very proud of you. Hard-working little knuckleheads in their capacity as kids. Well, for anybody watching, I appreciate it. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, question, concern, criticize, jazzercise. Yeah. Well, it's raining outside. I'm inside, but it's raining outside. And I have about 6 hours worth of work to do on this, and I have a Ram 5500 over there that I have to go put, for now, a couple of filters on and diff fluid back in. And then we're waiting on word for a transfer case. But this is the Surly Mechanic. We'll see you guys next time for episode 18.